The thing is, if you want to sell hats on the internet, it's really important to pay attention to the design ideas that you really put forward to the market because hat selling is a very competitive industry. You have lots of designs all the time. Okay, so it's important to understand that from practical headwear to statement pieces, hats really offer a versatile canvas for branding, not just for branding at the personal level, but also branding as part of a community. For instance, okay, so sometimes people wear hats because they are very proud of they're very proud of being part of a team. They're proud of being part of a group. They've been proud to be who they are themselves. So wearing a hat is not just something you do very lightly. So if you are going to sell hats on the internet, you have to know exactly what your audience really wants. Okay, this is important from a, let's say from a scalability point of view, but also in terms of nation. So hats are really are a timeless accessory. They shade you from the summer sun and warm your ears in the winter, all while showcasing your personal style. Okay. And it doesn't matter what your style, what that personal style is. That personal style can be a sophisticated or formal. So if you are a business owner, hats actually offer a versatile canvas for branding. So by incorporating your logo, your slogan, or unique designs onto hats, you are able to actually portray something to the market. You can convey a certain message to the market. You can even advertise your business. So you can see that hats actually offer a lot of flexibility. And one thing I want you to really understand here is that if you are going to sell hats or you are going to design hats for your own business, it's important to understand that you have to you have to look for your target audience and what your target audience is really looking for. If you are, let's say, if you're focusing on the younger generation, you want to have something more hip hop or more trendy. But if you are going to focus on an older generation, you also got to think about what really fits with their needs. Okay, so this is important. So into this conversation, I want to explore with you a range of popular hat styles. Okay, so you can actually you can really have the right hats for your audience, the right hat for your specific niche, your specific market, but also most importantly, your price tier. So let me talk about the types of hats you need to really think about this year. It's important to understand that whether you are designing a fashion statement piece for customers or internal merch for employees, there are a few classic styles you need to really think about this year. But again, remember that everything goes back to your target audience. Everything goes back to the specific audience that you want to address. Okay, so you have trucker hats, you have dead hats, you have five panel hats, you have snapback hats, you have bucker hats, you have beanies, and you also have baseball hats. So when I say trucker hats typically have a structured crown of foam or cotton, a mesh hat, or an adjustable snapback or a Velcro snap. So Velcro strap rather. And those hats sports a logo or graphic on the front panel. So if you want to really portray your business logo, maybe you can go for a trucker hat. What about dead hats? So dead hats are composed of less structured cotton with a lower profile and adjustable strap, and wearers often favor dead hats for a relaxed, casual style. So if you want to portray a corporate logo, do not go for dead hats. Okay, but if you want to really maybe reach out to a younger generation, dead hats could be suitable. You have five panel hats. So hats designed with five panels instead of the usual six have a unique fit and a flat bill. Streetwear brands often utilize five panel hats for a distinctive look. You also have snapback hats. Those feature a strap with a snap enclosure for an adjustable fit. Okay. You also have bucket hats. So a bucket hat has a flexible, narrow brim wrapping all sides of the cap, and but bucket hats are more niche oriented. Those are usually for fashion aficionados and aficionadas. Okay, they often choose bucket hats for a retro vibe. You have beanies. So beanies are actually soft cottons or wool hats sold in one size with no bill at at the front. They tightly cover most head measurements and keep your ears warm in colder months. So this is kind of important. And you also have finally baseball hats. So the thing is that if you want to really sport a classic curved hats, this is actually the best one for you. So how do you add designs to hats? So if you are interested in actually using hats as let's say as a branding conduit, as a branding strategy, you got to have a clear idea to know that the way you add designs to hat will depend on the type of hats that you have, but also the kind of target audience you're going after. So you have screen printing, you have embroidery, and you have patches. Okay. The cool thing is that all any of those three can really offer you the type of finish that you're really looking for. You can utilize different styles of adhesion and thread work to add all sorts of designs to your hats. So depending on the types of caps and your ideas for designs, let me give you a few design options to capture your vision this year. So you have screen printing. So screen printing is a great choice for, let's say, stamping designs into both synthetic and natural fabrics. In other words, the foam on trucker hats, for instance. This is actually the best option for intricate designs using small fonts or gradients because the cool thing is you can transfer ink directly onto the fabric, and this is kind of similar to a traditional printer. So to really execute the screen printed designs yourself, you will need to purchase a screen printer built specifically for hats or use a third-party service such as Vistaprint or Custom Link to add hats to order actually hats in bulk. So you also have embroidery. So embroidery means that you are stitching your design into the fabric of each hat, and embroidered designs are often drawn and actually sewn by an automated sewing machine in a factory, offering increased durability to screen printing due to the inability of your designs to peel or crack over time, right? So embroidery is great for less intricate designs without complex color gradients, and they typically give a more professional look. Finally, you have patches. So patches can be a great option for your hat designs because they offer more texture and unique style, especially for simple logos. So typically made of leather, rubber, or cotton, each patch is either sewn or ironed into your hat of choice. So rubber and leather patches also offer added dimension thanks to the pressed quality of every design. So if you are thinking about hat designs this year, you have to understand that you want to watch free design software tutorials. It's always important to get inspiration from other creatives. Okay, you also want to target a niche, and finally, you have to develop a style. Again, it doesn't matter whether you're doing this for in-house branding or you're doing this commercially. You got to really have you got to get some ideas from elsewhere. So when I say watch free design software tutorials, it's important to understand that you have a lot of inspiration to actually pay attention to. Okay, so creating your own head designs doesn't have to be complicated. So while the industry standard for design is Adobe Illustrator, you can bypass the learning curve and expense by opting for free design platforms that may offer all the features you need. So consider starting with a user-friendly option like Canva or Inkscape, which really offer intuitive interface and pre-made templates. So it's easier to create basic designs without extensive training. You don't have to have a PhD in illustrative design to actually do this. Okay, so you just watch free online tutorials to get a sense of a tool's capabilities. And also, one thing I need to add is that if you watch tutorial videos, you might find DIY designing being very simple. Okay, and you can also find designs that are beyond your scope, and you might find out that it's just better to hire a professional designer. And graphic designers know how to translate your ideas into reality while ensuring that your final product look looks very polished. Okay, so having a base understanding of design principles will also help you communicate your vision clearly if you decide to hire a designer. Next, you want to target a niche. So whether you are launching a new hat brand, creating custom merchandise, or simply looking for a fresh design inspiration, understanding your audience is very key. So crafting hat designs actually that resonates with specific interests and passions can actually boost your sales. I mean, especially if you want to boost sales or build a loyal customer base, especially in the long run. Okay, so instead of trying to appeal to everyone, consider actually focusing on niche markets. So this is a great, especially if you want to scale. So when it comes to head design ideas, it's important to develop a style. And again, I don't care about the purpose of your activity. If you are doing this for in-house branding or you're just doing it for a commercial purpose, you want to develop a style. And developing a style can lead to higher brand recognition, especially if you know that you are in a very competitive field and you want to differentiate yourself. So, using your brand identity as inspiration, you can build your style with specific design elements like materials, colors, or hat silhouettes that become synonymous with your brand. Okay, and this could be a pretty good strategy because if you want to brand out outside your logo or outside your regular brand palette, having hats can really be helpful too. Okay, so you got to really ask yourself whether you lean toward rugged or outdoorsy, modern or minimalist, retro or playful. So it's one of those things where you have to make sure that you find a style that really fits your brand. So once you have defined your style, stick with it. This makes your hat instantly identifiable and increases their appeal to your target audience. Remember, you're not trying to please everybody at the same time. You are trying to please a specific target market. So if you stick to your strategy and you have a consistent brand strategy, you are going to be recognizable among millions of brands in the industry. So, what are the head design ideas you can have? The thing is, when it comes to head design, you need to understand that you have the possibility to actually have your logo, to have a tagline, to have an event, or to even have humor also. Okay, it depends on what you want to go after, what kind of strategy you think is best for your brand, and what's great for your target audience. So let's talk about the logo first. So logos. So a company logo is often the main signifier of your brand, and that is recognizable to your audience, right? That's why you got to have a pretty appealing logo. So placing your logo on a hat can be an effective design choice for fans of your brand. And you can screen print logos on the front of a 5 panel hat, stamp them into a leather patch, onto a trucker hat, or embroider them directly onto the fabric of a baseball cap, depending on the intricacy of your logo design. Now, one thing I want to say here is that when it comes to hats, you can also consider actually a third party providers also gonna help you out. Okay, instead of doing them yourself, you can really have a third party take care of that process. Okay, this is important. So this for logos. You also have taglines. So if you have a tagline used for branding, a design inspired by that phrase can be effective to portray the mission of your company on a cap. Now, the design can simply be your tagline in a unique typeface or an eye-catching graphic that uses bright colors with your tagline below it. Okay. Again, it has to fit with your target audience. You can also think about events. So events can actually be a perfect inspiration for design ideas. And attendees often want a way to remember events like 5K races or trade shows. So it may be a good idea to create a cap design that features art centered around the event to invoke its feeling or theme. Now, you don't need a major licensing deal to create a fun event centered on hat. Consider creating branded hats for your next company offsite or commemorating your brand's annual holiday party. You also have humor. So, if humor aligns with the tone of your brand, try incorporating it into your design and leveraging a play on words or a funny graphic can be memorable and help you stand out from competitors. And poking fun at your own brand can also be endearing to some customers, but only do what you only want to do it if that fits your overall brand tone. So you need to understand that when you think about head design ideas, you are thinking about what really works for your specific company, what works for your brand, but what also works for the specific action that you want to reach. Right? If you have a CTA, a call to action, then you have a possibility to get things done. You have the possibility to actually reach the customers you want to reach. Okay, but you have to pay attention to the head design because a head design is most often screen printed or embroidered directly onto the fabric of a cap or stamped into a patch and so on. But if it's done improperly, this can really reflect poorly on your hat. So the design has to be really, really well done, okay? And you are going to understand that once the design is done right, you still need to make sure that the hat overall looks very good. So making a hat look good comes down to creating a stylish, professional design that stands out in your market and that your target audience will want to wear. Because otherwise, why would you spend time and money and resources onto the hat if your target audience does not want to wear it? Okay, so this is important. And also, in terms of the the hat design that you want to have, the size, it really depends. Okay, the size of hat designs can range depending on placement and intricacy. Typically, they're around 5 inches wide and 3 inches tall, but you can always sort of adjust them to your specific target audience. So overall, what I want to say is that when it comes to head design ideas, you have the possibility to get things done. Okay, depending on your niche, depending on your target audience, depending on the specific branding that you have. Okay, especially if you want to get things done in a certain way, you have to understand what your target audience wants, and you have to understand that how you can add value to them. Okay, how you can add value to your target audience. But remember that you always have the possibility to go to a third party. Okay, to go to you can outsource the whole operation. You don't have to do it yourself. Don't feel like you have to do things yourself. No, you can outsource the whole operation from design all the way to printing, all the way to a distribution. You have the possibility to outsource the whole activity to a third party. So, in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about hat design ideas. I spoke about the types of hats, how to add designs to hats, the tips for hat designs, and the hat design ideas that you need to really pay attention to. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.